Something shifts the moment Heartland Season 20 begins, and it isn't announced with music or spectacle. It arrives quietly, in the way grief often does, lingering in the background long after you think you've learned to live with it. For years, the absence of Borden wasn't just a storyline, it was a presence of its own, shaping every choice Amy made and every silence that settled over the ranch. Season 20 doesn't rush to undo that. Instead, it leans into it, reminding us that healing doesn't happen all at once, and love doesn't disappear just because time moves forward. Ty's return isn't framed as a miracle or a shock twist. It feels heavier than that. It feels earned. To understand why, you have to remember who Ty was when he first arrived at Heartland. He wasn't confident or steady. He was guarded, angry, and unsure of where he belonged. Over time, the ranch became more than a place to work. It became the space where he learned patience, responsibility, and compassion. His growth wasn't dramatic. It was gradual, built through mistakes, forgiveness, and the quiet support of people who refused to give up on him. That journey is why his absence hurt so deeply, because it felt unfinished. Amy carried that unfinished story more than anyone. When Ty was gone, she didn't fall apart in obvious ways. She adapted. She became stronger, more controlled, more focused on survival than healing. Raising Lindy required that strength, but it came at a cost. Amy learned how to keep moving without ever truly letting go. The show allowed that pain to exist without constantly naming it, which made it feel real. So when Season 20 opens, there's a calmness to Amy that feels practiced, almost fragile. She looks steady, but the weight is still there, just carried differently. The episode understands that Ty's return can't simply erase that history. Instead of rushing to the moment, it builds emotional pressure through atmosphere. The ranch feels familiar, yet changed. Conversations are quieter, pauses last longer. Everything feels like it's waiting for something unspoken to surface. This slow pacing isn't accidental. It mirrors Amy's internal state, the way she's learned to live with the past without reopening it. By the time Ty finally appears, it doesn't feel sudden. It feels inevitable, like a truth that's been circling back for years. Amy's reaction says everything without saying much at all. There's no immediate embrace, no release of emotion that resets the pain. What we see instead is disbelief, fear, and love colliding at once. Her body stays still while her eyes give her away. She isn't just seeing Ty, she's seeing every version of herself that existed because of him, and every version that had to survive without him. That complexity is what makes the moment powerful. It doesn't offer comfort right away. It offers honesty, and that honesty is what pulls the audience in, because it respects the journey that came before. Lindy's response changes the emotional temperature of the episode in a way no adult reaction could. She doesn't carry years of grief or unanswered questions. What she carries is instinct. When she looks at Ty, there's curiosity, then recognition, not from memory, but from something deeper. She feels the connection before she understands it. That innocence cuts through the tension like light through fog. In that moment, Ty isn't defined by absence or loss. He's defined by belonging. Lindy becomes the bridge between what was broken and what might still be possible, and the show lets that happen without over-explaining it. Through Lindy, the return stops being only about the past and starts leaning toward the future. It reframes Ty's presence not as a reopening of wounds, but as an opportunity to heal them differently. That shift is subtle, but it's crucial. Heartland has always understood that family isn't just built through shared history, but through shared acceptance. Lindy offers that freely, and in doing so, she grounds the entire episode in hope rather than nostalgia. Jack's reaction reinforces that sense of grounding. He doesn't rush the moment or try to control it. Jack watches, listens, and waits, because he understands that some reunions need space more than words. There's no shock in his expression, only recognition. He's seen enough life to know that some people circle back when the time is right, not to undo the past, but to face it honestly. When Jack finally speaks to Ty, it isn't with judgment or questions, it's with calm acceptance. In that quiet exchange, Heartland reminds us that forgiveness doesn't require explanations, only sincerity. Lou's response is more conflicted, and that's what makes it feel real. She's spent years watching Amy carry pain quietly, and that makes her cautious. Her first instinct isn't celebration, it's protection. She measures the moment, watches Amy closely, and keeps her distance emotionally. Lou understands what it cost Amy to rebuild her life, and she's afraid of seeing that progress undone. But as the episode unfolds, Lou notices small changes. Amy's voice softens. Lindy gravitates naturally toward Ty. The tension doesn't disappear, but it loosens. Slowly, hope finds its way in, not as certainty, but as possibility. Georgie adds balance to the moment through restraint. She doesn't insert herself or demand attention. She observes, supports, and understands the emotional complexity unfolding around her. Her maturity reflects how far she's come, and it reinforces one of Heartland's quiet truths, that growth often looks like knowing when to step back. Tim, meanwhile, reacts the only way he knows how, through guarded humor and emotional resistance. But beneath that surface is relief. Seeing Ty again means seeing Amy face something she never fully healed from, and for Tim, that matters more than pride. The private conversation between Ty and Amy brings everything into focus. There are no promises, no dramatic resolutions, just honesty. They acknowledge the pain, the love, and the people they've become. Nothing is fixed, but something shifts. Closure turns into possibility, and that's where the episode leaves us, not with answers, but with the understanding that some love stories don't end cleanly. They wait, they change, and sometimes they return when the heart is finally ready to face them.